If you want to go from idea to prototype quickly with AI, don't just write your prompt into Lovable. Typing your idea into Lovable or Bold will give you the same boring UI that no one wants. Steve Jobs said that creativity is combining existing ideas in new ways rather than creating from nothing. So how do you go from a vague idea to a working prototype quickly with AI? Here's my 4-step process I use to do this. Step 1 is to make a product vision document. Making a product vision document is extremely easy. Use this prompt. I want you to ask me thoughtful questions to validate my product business idea to carefully craft a product vision doc. Use Insights framework from the book Build Trap when asking questions. I found this book Build Trap very useful in asking the right questions that gives you a clear view of what product vision that you want. I went to AI and typed this prompt along with a PDF of the book Build Trap just as an additional context, and then I asked it to continue asking me useful questions. So it first dug into the problem statement, and then once I clarified what the problem statement was, it started to dig a little deeper by asking me the 5 whys on the problem statement. So I started answering each of them, and then it started clarifying the real problem and the frequency of the problem, the scale of the problem, and then once I started clarifying more, the actual pain points started to surface better in what I was trying to say. And finally, it validated the scope, and gradually, as I started answering more and more questions, it collected all my responses and finally created a product vision doc at the end. It contains executive summary, the problems we're solving, the target users, the product vision and North Star, the core value proposition, the product principles, the product strategy and roadmap, the user experience vision, the success metrics and KPIs, the go-to-market strategy, the risks and mitigation, open questions and assumptions and why this will work, some definition of success, and finally a competitive landscape summary. With all of this, I'm ready for my next step, which is to collect my inspiration. Giving references is the easiest way to communicate your ideas. You can make connections between the product requirements document that you have and the reference that you provide. In my example, I liked the building blocks of Notion. I also liked the way Google Keep organizes its notes. So I wanted to combine both of them into my idea for the prompt builder. So I added this prompt when I wanted to build my prototype. The app's interface can be imagined as a mix of Notion and Google Keep. It has 2 windows which can be toggled. The toggle button is placed at the bottom. The first view is the Google Keep view where context blocks are stored. The left side panel contains all the projects within which these context blocks can be organized neatly by the user. The user can select multiple context blocks and insert it into the prompt. There needs to be a call to action to insert the prompt, which inserts these context blocks into the second window, which is the window on the right. The second window, which is inspired by blocks of text from Notion, is basically blocks of context inserted from the first window. The user can insert multiple blocks at once. Now we're on to the third step, which is to capture the idea. You need to tell AI how to modify the inspiration that you just provided. The easiest way to do this is using a visual tool like TLDraw or FigJam or TLDraw. I went into FigJam and then I quickly started annotating different arrows into what I liked and what changes I wanted to make. For call to actions, I just made simple boxes like these and then had like a screenshot of Notion and a screenshot of Keep, and then added these little icons from ant icons that FigJam provides by default. And my goal was to just highlight how I wanted the new interface to look like in reference to some of these existing tools. Now with that done, I'm at the final step, which is to bring everything together and build my prototype. You can use any tool for this. I used both Claude Artifacts and FigJam to try out my prototype, and honestly, I like the output of Claude Artifacts better, but you might find a different result with the tool of your choice. So here's how I attached my screenshot into Claude, and I pasted my product requirements document and the prompt that I just described on how I wanted the changes to the inspiration. And once I did that. It built a prototype right within Claude, and this is what it looked like. It's very close to what I had in mind, but not exactly, but I'm sure with just a few tweaks, I can get closer to what I want. So it has a bunch of these blocks, and I can insert these blocks into the prompt mode, and this prompt mode is kind of like a building blocks for creating a prompt. So I can add my custom text here and build my prompt very easily within here. And I can run this prompt and also select which model I want to run it with, and it showed the response in a side panel similar to exactly how I asked it. And it also has this token count, the input token count and the output token count. And if you look at my Figma, you can see it's actually pretty close to what I wanted. Now I also want to show you what I got from Figma Make. So you can take a look here. I did the exact same prompt and put the exact same image, and this was Figma Make's output. It looks very similar, but as you can see, Figma Make made its own decisions. It added all the context blocks count here. It added the number of prompts run here, which is something I didn't mention, but it's great to have. It didn't quite get the navigation part correct. It added these tab-like structures, but you can still select a few blocks and insert them into the prompt builder, and then you can also type things into the prompt builder. And it has some input tokens over here. When I run the prompt, it opens the side panel with some output tokens as well. One niche advantage of Figma is that you can just copy this directly into the design, and that will give you a little more control over designing your interface better and then bringing it back into Figma Make, and this gives you a better workflow. You could still do that back in Claude, but you will need to use a plugin to convert your HTML into your Figma design and then make changes within your Figma. So that's how, in my opinion, is the fastest way for a designer to go from a simple idea to a working prototype. In the next video, I'm going to show you what is the fastest way to go from a working prototype to a fully built application. If you want to follow along, like this video and subscribe to my channel to get notified when I make this video.